Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Michael's Corner. This week's episode was going to be about statues, right or wrong, but given recent events in Afghanistan, not to mention the eve of 9/11, I decided to do an episode based on the history of the conflict in Afghanistan. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the events that led up to this point and what happens now. Now, it has taken me a while to do a new episode, so I do apologize to all my viewers out there. I've had some family issues within the last few weeks, and I said I apologize to all of you and plan to get back on track. As always, though, if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone who would be interested in this content. Okay? Now, when we talk about Afghanistan, it evokes mostly negative emotions in people who have followed the war that has been going on for about 20 years. 20 years. That is a long time to fight a war, don't you think? Let's talk about what happened and how we arrived at this point in history. Now, the war in Afghanistan began on October 7th, 2001. The cause of this conflict, however, actually started in September 27th, because at this time, the Taliban, with military support from Pakistan and financial support from Saudi Arabia, seized Kabul. It was at this time that they founded the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Okay? Now, if the Taliban would have left well enough alone, this might have been it. That was until 9/11 happened. Now, once this event occurred, the United States, under President George W. Bush, went into Afghanistan in search of Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, who was in charge of the attacks of 9/11. What helped spark the conflict was the fact that the Taliban would not give him up. Because of this, the United States and its allies declared war on the country, and the United States and its allies, invaded the region. With the assistance of its allies, the United States overthrew the Taliban government. Now, once this happened, the Taliban became an insurgency. After much fighting, a new government was formed in January 2004, which was backed by this coalition of allies. Now, finally, on May 2011, Osama bin Laden was finally killed, but the war continued. Most people call this war a modern day Vietnam for the United States, and I agree with them, because for nearly 20 years, we have not been able to declare victory, and this is how it was in Vietnam. Once bin Laden was eliminated, the ISAF, as the coalition was called, ceased combat operations and transferred security responsibility to the new government. In the years since, we have been training the Afghan army, and as of 2020, an agreement was reached between the United States and the Taliban in which all hostilities were ceased and the United States started withdrawing its troops. This was called the Doha Agreement, and this was completed in August 2021. So what happened? Well, under the Trump administration, we were doing a carefully planned removal of all American troops and equipment. We did not want to do it too fast because we needed the Afghan government to take control as we were leaving. We were in the process of doing this when a presidential election occurred, the new one. Now, this would have been fine, except we elected a new president in Joe Biden, and he did not share the same viewpoint as the previous administration. Instead of doing the withdrawal in a timely manner and orderly fashion as was originally planned, the Biden administration decided to withdraw everybody at once. This was a serious mistake as the Afghan government just could not adjust fast enough, which gave the Taliban an opening, and they certainly took advantage of it, didn't they? The effect was devastating. The Afghan army, despite being trained by the United States, gave up without a fight. This left Americans and pro-Americans alike with no support, and pretty soon only Kabul was left. The United States tried to get these people out of the country, but they just did not have time to get everyone. And about 24 Americans have been left in the country, and let's not even get started on what's going to happen to all the Afghans who helped the United States in hopes of a better country. My heart goes out to everyone who was left behind in this aftermath. The aftermath of this disaster was terrible. Another issue that's going to bite us on the ass, excuse my French, is the millions of dollars or more of military equipment that's been left behind. How about the millions of dollars left in the American embassy? The Taliban are going to have a field day with all of that, won't they? Now, before I close, I just got some new information. It turns out that now Joe Biden has given the Taliban $24 million. And then I have to ask myself, why? Well, are we trying to, buy their behavior? Are we trying to, bribe them to not do what they're doing? I think it's just a waste of taxpayers' money. And I think now that we're in this situation and we're out of there now, it's time to try and help the people that are left. And that's not the way to do it, because it's almost like it's a ransom. And that was just something I just found out. And I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. Good going, USA. Good going. Now, I love this country, but I'll tell you what, we make some really dumb mistakes that we're going to always regret, unfortunately. Wow. Well, back to my actual closing. Now, I do wish the country well, because without our help and that of our allies, that assisted us, as well as the future of the country, because without our help and that of our allies, let me backpedal a little bit. I'm going too fast. Without our help and that of our allies that assisted us, the future of Afghanistan is in serious jeopardy. After 20 years, we did not accomplish anything we had planned for the country. What about all the soldiers who died in this useless war? How about the Afghans who helped us during the course of the war in hopes of a better life? These are all of the people who were shortchanged. Finally, our security is now compromised in the region. Good job, USA. That would be my soapbox for today. Tune in for the next section where I have my questions and answers ready for you guys. Thank you very much. Welcome to my questions and answers. I hope all of you enjoyed today's show. I hope you learned something new today. As always, if you feel that I missed something in the previous section that you wanted me to cover, comments. Did you hate what I covered? Comments. Also, I want to let you guys know that New Image Productions, which helps creates this show and creates Let's Go Outdoors, we now have a store where you can get all kinds of cool gear. It's really neat. And we're going to do a coffee talk show in the near future, showcasing some of what we offer. There'll be a link in the description. So just go to newimagestore.com and look us up. And help us out, because it helps New Image, it helps my channel, it helps Let's Go Outdoors, and we can really use your guys' support. Thanks very much. Now, as far as questions and answers, I have no questions for you guys today. So on to my final thoughts for the episode. Welcome to my final thoughts for this episode. First of all, I want to thank all of you for indulging me today. I felt this was a worthwhile subject to cover. I especially want to thank all of the veterans, especially out there who served in Afghanistan. You did your duty and survived, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. My condolences go out to all the countries who helped us in this war and lost someone. My prayers also go with you guys. In summary, we discussed Afghanistan, big surprise, and everything that has happened up to this point. We touched upon 9/11, which was truly a sad time in our history. I talked about how we arrived there, how we left there, and the consequences that will happen as a result of a badly timed withdrawal. If we learned anything from all of this, It is that there are certain things we as a nation should not do. The folly of poor planning has brought us to this point. We can only hope that we will find a way to rescue the remaining Americans and offer whatever help we can to help the Afghans who helped us in the war. I pray that we come up with a solution before it's too late. Now, next week we're talking about COVID-19 vaccinations. It's called to vax or not to vax. And this has become a real serious issue these days, and I definitely have some interesting things to say about it. I hope all of you will tune in to this next episode. Now, as always, I want you all to be safe, be careful, be open-minded, and I will see you in the next show. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye now.